Hello.
Hi,
Welcome to another episode of Our Years. I'm Reema.
this is Barry.
So, something that's happening in our neighborhood is that last week there's a wine bar that's very close to us and it's called KIS Cafe. And last week they shuttered the shop essentially and they gave their employees notice that they were shutting down. It was quite abrupt. And what happened was, or what led up to it, was that they were visited by an influencer or a TikToker. And apparently, the chef slash owner of KIS Cafe refused to give her preferential treatment. And I haven't seen the clip about what exactly he said, but I think he basically meant that she wasn't famous enough to get preferential treatment. And this influencer slash TikToker took it very badly and she started crying in the premises. So a lot of people were like, hey, what's happening? And she uploaded a video of herself crying in the cafe or this wine bar about how badly she was treated. And this person, the chef slash owner, received a lot of backlash on the internet, and her followers apparently downvoted the restaurant on Google reviews. And so even on Reddit, a lot of the employees of the wine bar were requesting people to not downvote them or not rate them if they have not been to if they've not been patrons.
Yeah.
But yeah, the restaurant shut down and all the employees were let go. And even the sister restaurant of this owner, Domo, was shut down. I'm not sure if they received such backlash that it was affecting day-to-day business. But yeah, that's what's happening. And so then me and Barry were talking about whether the punishment fits the crime and who is the asshole in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, like, I 100%, agree with not behaving that way towards a customer. I think, like, when you're in the service industry, like, there is an expectation for good service, right? And
Right.
yeah, I think, like, obviously we're not condoning whatever he did. Obviously, I didn't see the video as well, but I'm sure it's like all over TikTok.
Yeah.
But I do question whether, like, what has happened now, which has resulted in people losing their jobs and the restaurant closing down, if that is a fair punishment to whatever he did, right? And I think, I don't know, I feel like maybe, to be fair, maybe the person or the victim wasn't aware of how big it would blow up.
Yeah, like it snowballed into quite a thing.
Right. That has now resulted in 2 of his restaurants closing down. I'm not sure if that's fair to say that it's, her fault for doing that. But yeah, I think I wonder if it's, like, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, if we posted this on Am I the Asshole, who would be the asshole? And now we've gone down a rabbit hole of Am I the Asshole?
Correct.
Which we're going to review.
Yeah. So we decided to go through some Reddit Am I the Asshole what do you call it, threads.
Yes.
Because Reema is a connoisseur of Reddit.
Love Reddit.
So yeah, we're just going to go through some of them and react to them and let us know what you guys feel.
And
if
judge
you
people for being assholes.
Yeah. And if you guys agree with us being judgmental to a certain extent. Should we start?
Yeah.
Okay, so title is Am I the Asshole for Letting My Daughter Flaunt Her Expensive Things? So I, 50 male, and my husband, 48 male, have a daughter, Danica, 28, who have been extremely independent her whole life. Danica began working when she was 15, and now she works part-time for a large corporation while pursuing her studies. We're extremely proud of her and how hard she has worked. We generally allow her to manage her own finances, and she insists on contributing monthly to family expenses with the money that she earns. So Danica occasionally likes to make pricier purchases, which I do not have any concern over, as I think they are sensible financial choices. Like last year, she decided to purchase the newest MacBook as her old laptop was on its last leg. She wanted something reliable and long-lasting. Or when she bought a Marc Jacobs bag for work and university. We recently went on a family trip with my brother and his family, who have their own 2 kids, Tammy, who's 20, and Nick, who's 23. His kids and Danica aren't exactly close, but they get along just fine for the most part. I know that Tammy and Nick do not have any source of income besides my brother and have not worked a day in their life. During the trip, Danica would occasionally pay for the 3 of them for small things like drinks or food. When we were shopping, Danica bought a few items for herself and picked up gifts she wanted to bring back to her friends. During dinner that night, my sister-in-law, so the brother's wife, told my husband and me that we were spoiling Danica too much with her purchases. We explained that she earned her own money and every cent came from her job. So the sister-in-law then proceeded to point and tell Danica that if that was the case, she shouldn't be flaunting her purchases and items in front of her cousins who have a cushy little office job, who don't have a cushy little office job, and parents who spoiled her into the person she is. Danica apologized politely, saying that she didn't mean to flaunt her things, but I could tell she was upset and embarrassed. My husband stood up and shot back, saying that Danica shouldn't have to apologize for her own hard work. I also pointed out that Danica has been financially independent since she was 15 and that we've always done our best to not spoil her. The sister-in-law then proceeded to tell us that we weren't teaching her how to manage her finances correctly and that all this money had turned her into a little brat. Danica excused herself from the table to the bathroom and texted back that she had gone back to the hotel. We had a tense back and forth for the rest of the dinner and we came back to finding Danica crying in her hotel room. I called my brother hoping that he is able to talk to his wife, but he explained that in the past few days, Tammy, so the cousin, had been crying to her parents about not having what Danica has. She had been whining to her mom that she wanted to get a new MacBook as well, but the mom refused to get it. So myself, Danica, and my husband have been getting calls from the rest of the family, some calling us assholes and some were willing to hear us out and understand where we are coming from. So am I the asshole?
No, I don't think they're the asshole.
Honestly, I feel like the
sister-in-law is the asshole.
Yeah.
Also, why is other family calling them to discuss
This has become a family affair.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, no, I don't think, I think the parents handled it really well.
I agree.
In that they had a conversation with the sister-in-law and the brother, and they sort of took her side and justified where she was coming from.
Right.
And I also don't think that you can judge someone's parenting style just because your kids have a different life than them.
Right.
It's almost like the sister-in-law threw a temper tantrum. Right, and she took it out on someone who was much younger than her. Like Danica is very young comparatively,
right?
And she did nothing wrong. And she was also like a really sweet cousin. It sounds like where she was like picking up the tab whenever she could and stuff. So yeah, not the asshole.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think this is like a very realistic and tricky thing, right? Like I think when you have like cousins and the way you teach your kids and manage finances is different, like it does become like a very tricky topic when you go on family vacations. But honestly, I agree. I don't think that they're the asshole, and I think like it sounds like they taught their daughter really well, right? Like she even apologized like for it when she didn't really need to, in my opinion.
Yeah, she handled it well. Yeah, I think you're an asshole if you just tell people how to parent if you think only your style of parenting is correct and everybody else's is not.
Yeah.
I think that's the asshole move.
No, I agree. If like you had this happen to you, right, where maybe you were at a family function and your cousins with kids, have differences in the way they're brought up, and then like, one of the moms says something to the other, how would you have dealt with the situation?
Okay, so I've been in a lot of situations where I've not agreed with how some people raise their kids, like just how they behave.
Right.
But I don't say anything, right? It's not my place.
I feel like it's like...
So it's wild to me that people go around and saying these things.
Right.
Yeah, I really don't think it's my place. And I can disagree with something, but
yes.
I'm also not the parent. And I also don't have kids, so I'm not sure what that's like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how people have the sort of confidence or like the self importance to tell people how to parent children.
And to be fair, like how I saw this story is that I think that the mother or the sister-in-law should have actually taught her children or leveraged that as an opportunity to teach her children, right? Whether it's like teaching your children that, how other people spend their money is their choice and how you spend your money is your choice and how our family spends our money is our choice. I think that would have been a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
Whereas she kind of lashed out at...
someone doing better than her kids.
Right.
Yeah. I think it was also a learning moment, or could have been a learning moment for the cousins to see the benefits of making your own money,
Yeah.
right? And working hard and spending
Exactly.
hard-earned money.
I think I would have leveraged, if I was a sister-in-law, I would have leveraged that as an opportunity to teach my kids that, you know, you see how hard Danica is working. So if you do the same, then you can also get rewarded for things that you work hard for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the sister-in-law handled that very badly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Aligned.
The title is Am I the Asshole for Wanting a Child-Free Wedding? So my fiance and I decided we don't want kids at our upcoming wedding. It was something we talked about before getting engaged and something we mentioned to everyone when we started wedding planning. We want all guests to be able to relax and enjoy the event without needing to worry about supervising kids when there is alcohol on site. So my fiance's sister has 2 children. It's come to light that his family has been discussing our decision behind our backs, saying that they don't understand or agree with why we don't want our niece and nephew at this milestone event. We've tried explaining that it's not specific to her kids and it's all children, but they are all saying how it's unfair to the kids who want to see us get married. They are both under 5. It's now at the point where my sister is saying that she has no one to watch the kids and either they come or she won't be at the wedding. We've tried suggesting family members from their parents' side and have even researched professional babysitting companies, but she refuses to leave her kids. I don't want to be forced into changing what we want for the wedding that we're paying for because she isn't happy with our decision. Am I the asshole for not letting her bring her kids when she has made it clear that she doesn't feel like she has any other option? Thoughts?
Well, first of all, she does have options.
Yeah.
And even like they went all this way and effort to find them options on top.
Yeah.
So no,
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. I like, in my opinion, I've seen friends who have like asked for child-free weddings.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that can never fly in India. I can't imagine people putting restrictions like that. But tell me more about this restriction.
I mean, like their reason is that, you know, like there's alcohol involved and they want to be able to spend time with their friends, you know, and like old times, you know. So I think like, I think it makes sense. And it's not my friend. My friend was telling me about her friend who had a child-free wedding. And she, mind you, my friend has a kid and she was all for this. Yeah. She was like, amazing. This is like my time to get away and like have a good time with my friends and celebrate them. Yeah. And I agree. Like the kids are under 5. Like
they're not going to have memories.
They're not going to remember it, honestly. Right. And to be fair, this is someone else's wedding. Like you don't have a say in someone else's wedding, right? Like your only say is whether you want to be there or not. Yeah. Right. And on the other side of things, I think if I was the bride and the groom, I feel like if someone was finding it difficult to make this decision, it means that they don't place me at such an important level, right? Mm-hmm. That they don't respect what I want for my wedding. And it's my big day, right? In the grand scheme of things, that is likely only going to happen once in my life. So why is it so difficult for you to make certain plans? I can understand, for instance, like if the child has maybe certain disabilities, or, you know, it's just very difficult if they're not in a financial place to have a sitter, or if they really don't have family to look after, then I can understand, right? But there's so many other options out there.
Yeah, the sister seems quite entitled. And it's not like a decision that they made just on a whim, right? If they've been talking about it since even before they got engaged, it means it's clearly very important to them. Yeah. And so people should respect that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've also had like friends who were getting married and their friends are all abroad. And so when they were inviting people to the wedding and they know for sure that, you know, a lot of their friends are having kids, so they can understand fully that if they can't make it, you know, it's just hard. And I think like the bride and groom were super understanding of that, right? Obviously they like really want their friends to be there. Yeah. But if there's no other choice for their friends, it's not like they're going to hate them for not being at the wedding. Yeah. So it's not like that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, this child-free wedding thing is an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
I don't think so. I think I would still... Yeah, I don't mind children running around, I guess. Maybe at the reception.
That's where the party happens.
Yeah. I feel like if I'm having like the ceremony, if they're like well behaved, then sure. And I know that the parents have control over them, sure. They can be there.
No, they're like unruly.
No, I'm kidding. I think I'm fine with it. I like the idea of like kids running around. I feel like it's wholesome for me. Yeah. How about you?
I don't think it would fly. I don't think I can pull that off.
Even if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
Would you want to though? You would want to have a child-free wedding?
In my mind, it's such a like it's like a thing that cannot happen that I'm like,
You haven't even thought about it. It's because there's not even a possibility.
There's no possibility.
Fair.
Yeah, putting restrictions on Indians for anything in a wedding is tough.
Or another idea is probably like I invite or I get a sitter. I hire a sitter.
Like a daycare.
A daycare. Perfect. And then everybody can bring their kids and drop them off at daycare. And the daycare is at the wedding venue, so they can go look at their kids whenever. They'll just be like in a pen. I'll get them to like have like multiple sitters and like a little buffet going. Perfect.
It's like their own little party.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that idea.
I think it's a great idea. I should get patent for that. I think it's a great idea.
That is a good idea.
So people can bring their kids and not worry.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yep.
The budget for this wedding is quite
That's
high.
why I need to marry rich. Okay, don't take that seriously, guys. I'm a very hard worker. Rima and I were talking about this the other day where I can't make jokes to people that don't know me well enough
because they think you're a gold digger.
They'll actually take me seriously.
Yeah.
But no, tell them, Rima.
Yeah. That works very hard. She is not a gold digger.
I'm kidding. But yeah.
Yeah.
My stepdaughter, Madeline, was about a year old when I married her mother, Jessica. Madeline's father died before she was born. She is currently 15 and rebelling for almost everything. She did something bad, so while picking her up, I set a punishment up for her. Then she said, "You're not my dad. I don't have to follow you." Honestly, I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand that she didn't mean it and that she'd probably change. I just replied, "I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years, and as long as you're in my house, you have to follow my rules." That happened about 2 days ago. So our family was going grocery shopping when Madeline said, "I'm hungry, I need food." I decided to be extremely cheeky and say, "Hi, hungry, I'm not your dad." My son just started to laugh uncontrollably. My daughter was quiet and embarrassed, and my wife was berating me not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was a funny dad joke, and my son agrees, so am I the asshole? Then they added an edit. I did adopt her, so legally I am her parent. In the mini update, I'll probably give a full update later, but here is what happened so far. I go to my daughter's room after dinner and begin talking to her. "Hey, I'm really sorry that I hurt you by the words I said, and I am really your dad. I changed your diapers, I made your boyfriend, and I plan on helping you through college, and plus I'm legally your dad, so we're stuck together. But seriously, I'm going to love you like my daughter, even if you don't think I'm your dad." Then I hugged her. She did start to cry, and I assume that's good. What do you think?
I don't think anyone's an asshole. I think this is a regular.
I thought it was kind of funny, to be honest. But I can also see like how it may have hurt her.
Yeah. I think when you are a parent,
it's so hard being a parent, no?
I think it's very hard being a parent. And I think you can mean the best and still screw up your kids in very nuanced ways.
That's true.
And so maybe don't make jokes with your teenage daughter who's clearly going through stuff.
Yeah.
Who's not going to take the jokes very well. So maybe
That's
read the
true.
room.
But this dad was kind of funny. Now that we're older,
Yeah.
I feel like I agree because, you have to be sensitive when kids are growing up and,
Yeah, I sometimes talk to my colleagues and they tell me about like how their kids like hold something they did. Like the kids hold something that my colleagues did
parents
against
did,
them.
yeah.
Like when they were like 3 and they like still remember and
I
hold
do.
that over. Even I do.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, it really does affect children.
Yeah.
Like whatever you say when they're young.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they're still developing their like sense of what's right and wrong and what's okay or a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
And clearly she's going through something and maybe humor could have been a way to diffuse it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you should know your child well enough to know whether
that's
they'll take it
true.
over.
That's
But I
true.
think this man was just like
Being a dad.
Just being a dad. Just trying to do the best he could.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
If that was the case, then all parents would be assholes.
I know. Yeah, it's true. I remember like things when my parents said, oh my gosh, this one like stuck with me forever. So I have godparents now, right? But when I was a kid, every year we go back to Taiwan at the end of every year, and we'd spend our summer vacation in Taiwan, and we would stay with like relatives, some of which were my godparents. So my godparents are actually my relatives. They just don't have kids. So they took me as their goddaughter. And I just remember the one year, and I'm the youngest out of three, so I always get left behind at home. And I remember the one year, like we went back and I want to say 10, 11. And my parents were like, we're going to leave you here and we're going to go back to South Africa and you're going to stay with your godparents. And I feel like I was traumatized because I felt like my parents didn't want me, first of all.
Aww.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like I feel like that stuck with me for so long because I felt like my parents didn't want me, and that's why they were leaving me with the godparents and taking my brother and my sister with them.
And they were just making a joke.
Yeah. And they obviously took me back to South Africa. But like they were making a joke, and they actually left the house, but they were going shopping or whatnot. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I was left at home alone with the godparents, and they just left me at home. And so obviously I thought that, you know, they weren't going to come back.
Did you ever tell them?
I think I did, but then they laugh about it because they're just like, that's so dumb. Why would you think we would leave you there?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, as a kid, like I don't know any better.
Right.
Yeah, and it stuck with me. And to be fair, like I'm very close to my godparents now, and I get all the benefits out of having them. But yeah, like as a kid, like that was so scary for me because I felt like I wasn't wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can mean the best
I
and
know,
still like screw up your kids.
Truly.
Yeah, it's very easy to screw up kids.
Truly.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm still very close with my parents. I know that they love me, but like, don't do that to your kids.
Don't make these jokes.
Correct.
Am I the asshole for calling my wife unreasonable for backing out of spending Christmas with my family after my mother rejected her cookie sample? I love it. Okay, context. For every holiday, my mother would ask the women in the family, already I don't like this,
Correct.
sister, sister-in-law, my wife, female cousins, to send samples of the desserts they plan to bring to the celebration for testing and to see if these desserts could make it to the food menu.
First of all, this mom.
Yeah. I would know part of this. I would not
ASAP.
be sending samplers.
Correct.
Okay, my wife has been complaining about my mother desperately rejecting every dessert sample she has ever sent. So many times my mother has told her that she's being honest and keeping the guest's best interest at heart. Yet my wife still thought that my mother is deliberately excluding her since 2 of her dessert samples were rejected before.
Taking it very personally.
I can't believe this is people's life. For this year's Christmas, my mother is doing the same thing. But this time she told every woman who is participating to make a cookie sample and send it to her for testing.
Why can't it be the men? Why can't it be the men making the cookies?
Yeah,
or baking
this whole situation is
Sorry, please continue.
is making me uncomfortable. My wife took it as a challenge, and to be honest, she worked really hard to make a good sample and send it to my mother days before. You know, I would just buy food. And the results came in yesterday. I came home from work and found my wife upset. I asked her what's wrong, and she told me that my mother rejected the sample she sent and decided to exclude her baking from the food list for this Christmas. I didn't know what to say, but then she told me that she was backing out of the invitation to attend Christmas with my family. I was stunned when I heard her make this statement. I tried to talk to her, but she said it was done. I called her unreasonable because she decided to bail on the whole family over some cookie sample. That's just freaking crazy and quite unreasonable. Am I the asshole for asking her to come and forget about this event?
I think both parties suck.
Which parties?
Like
The mother and son, or the wife and the husband?
all parties. I think like from the mom's side, first of all, this is just toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're pitting all these women.
Exactly. First of all, it's only women baking the cookies. I'm just like not about it.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Yeah.
And then number two is I think the husband could have been a better like in between person, kind of, you know, bringing the two together and justifying things or like explaining things. And then three, I think like the wife could have not taken it so personally. Like, it doesn't matter if your cookie's not on the menu. Like, honestly, I would just be happy
To be eating
to
cookies.
be eating cookies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even need to be baking. It's less work for me.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Also,
So
like, I would just buy the food.
I would just go to Whole Foods, put it in a little container,
Pass it
drop
off
it
as your
out. Correct.
own. Imagine if that got rejected.
Then I'd be like, see, this woman is against me.
Yeah. I would have done that. I would have sent like a professionally made cookie and then seeing the results.
Yeah.
And if that had like not
Then you
made
know
the
that
cut,
it's
then you know
targeted.
for sure.
Yeah.
You need to do like an experiment.
Correct.
You need
A/B
to A/B
testing.
test. Correct. You can't just like depend on your feelings.
We're women of
in STEM.
science. Correct.
Yeah. So who's the asshole in this situation?
That's why I think everyone sucks. Everyone could have done better. Most of the time, like, the husband needs to be like a good middle person for the wife and his mom.
That's true.
And this is pro tip for when you marry someone.
Nice.
Not that I have someone, so not really a pro tip.
Nice.
But I think having observed all of my like cousins and all my family members, I think the relationships that work the best between mother-in-laws and wife are when the husband plays a very important role in being a good middleman.
One of my friend once said that she wants to date an orphan because she didn't want to deal with in-laws.
I think, first of all, that will come with its own set of problems.
I never thought about that. About the baggage that would bring.
Exactly. I feel like that's actually more baggage. But yeah, I mean, go her. I think
Green flag.
someone has actually told me that before, but I think they call themselves lucky in that before they got married, the parents passed away.
Oh my
So it's
God.
not really lucky. It's
Yeah.
more so like she felt like a sense of relief because she didn't have to deal with the parents.
I've heard like crazy stories of in-laws.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can see.
Especially in Asian culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like parents who put their sons on like a pedestals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Am I the asshole for firing an employee after his parents died? So I'm VP of sales at a software company, and one of our sales development reps' parents passed away at the beginning of April. Sadly, they were involved in a car crash and both lost their lives. Now the employee is in question is a very young 22-year-old guy and has been with us. And we were thinking about promotions in the next 6 months for him. His job is a high-paying one for a new grad, roughly 90K with commission and base, so we expect a lot from his position. Because of this accident, we let him take a month paid leave of absence from work, and he returned a few weeks ago, and his performance is severely lacking. He's super unmotivated, not cold calling, outreaching to prospects for the last 2 to 3 weeks, enough since he's come back. Our whole management team has noticed this, and we decided to let him go because we feel like he'd need months to be able to produce again, and we can't wait that long. So we called him into a meeting on Friday afternoon and gave him the bad news. He was very calm and rude about it, told us to go F yourselves, and got up and went to his desk, grabbed his few things and left. I thought this was very, very unprofessional and extremely rude. I told my boyfriend about all of this, and he said myself and the management team are a bunch of asses and pricks with no hearts. Am I the asshole? The update was that I know this was bad of me now, and I reached out to him to see how he's holding up. He's staying at his girlfriend's place, and she's supporting him a lot right now. I offered to get my headhunter friend in touch with him when he's ready, and he accepted. Asshole or not?
I don't think so. I don't think they are an asshole. But maybe they could have handled it better. If I was in the position, if I was in this, in the original poster's position, what I would have done is maybe see if they need to like readjust their targets because it's a sales job. So maybe readjust the targets to something that was more manageable. And even if they couldn't do that, then maybe I'd put them on like some sort of a PIP, like a performance improvement plan. But I'd readjust the goals if this person was going through something. And if I knew that they had potential or had shown potential and they were not just slacking, right? There's a reason why they were doing it. So I think I would just handled it differently. But I don't know what the circumstances of like this person, whether they could do it or not.
Right.
But I also see how you're just, unfortunately, you're a cog in the wheel, right? Like you can only, like she seems like mid-management. I don't think she has a lot of power.
People are saying she is the asshole. I think
What do you think?
in my opinion, what I would have done is I would have said, hey, like I would have told the truth. You're not performing to the level that you need to be performing at. We'd like to keep you in the company, so you're free to take a sabbatical or something like that, and then come back when you're ready. But I would say like we would maybe like a no paid sort of leave, and let him kind of readjust himself before having him come back and perform, because I know that he can perform at a good level, right? So it's just maybe having him there but not paying him, so that's motivation for him to come back into it if he does want the job. So the offer is still there.
But is she an asshole?
Man, I think this is so tough, right? Like I feel like both have their reasons, right? And so I wouldn't call anyone the asshole here.
Yeah, which is why I didn't think she was an asshole too, because like she just has to do the job. I guess I don't think she's an asshole because she wasn't like cutthroat about it. Like I think she gave him like some time.
But that was just bereavement leave, right? It wasn't like additional time. Maybe he needed more time than that. I mean, having both parents like leave suddenly is a huge deal.
That is.
Yeah. Especially when you're like 22, right? And it's just like a...
Which is why I thought she should like readjust the goals, because he can't be asked to perform at his original like goal level.
Right.
But I don't think she was an asshole. I think she could have done things better.
I feel like if you already know that he's a high performer, right?
Yeah.
I think like it's kind of silly to like let him go and then bring in someone else who is a gamble on how good they perform. Yeah.
I have noticed though that sometimes when people are just like their heart is not in the job, sometimes it's good for them, even though it doesn't, yes, losing a job is really traumatic and being let go is horrible. But maybe this is what he needed as well. Maybe he just needs time, like time off.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. This is one that hits close to home. It's about visa stuff.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for making my girlfriend leave the country? I, 28 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 27 female, for 5 years. We met in college where she was an international student. She started working after graduating while I continued to do my master's. Her company was sponsoring her visa until they got bought out and she got laid off. She was given a limited time to find a new employer to sponsor her a new visa, and it really stressed her out. She was applying to jobs every day and did a lot of interviews, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to get an offer. She really wanted to stay since she loves the US, but I would still be here in the country. While I was out with a buddy, he suggested that I sponsor her visa since we have been in a relationship for quite some time. So basically get a dependent visa. I love her and I didn't want to see her stressed out, so I told her about the idea. She was hesitant at first. She said she didn't want me to think that she was with me so that I could be her way into a permanent residency or citizenship to the country. I wanted her to stay and I wanted to do it. We consulted an immigration consultant and decided to do the paperwork on our own. She was the one who mostly looked into the stuff we needed to prepare. She still applied for jobs, but not as urgently as she used to. It took a while since we never really had anything joint, so getting the paperwork together took time. We lived together and just split the bills on our own. She had enough saved up to be okay for a while. I had to fill out some paperwork to be her sponsor and I felt a little uneasy about it. I did want her to stay, but it felt like it was too much. Eventually, she was done with her part and all was left was my part. I finally told her that I didn't want to go through with it. She was very upset and asked why. I told her that I suggested the idea because I didn't want to see her stressed out all the time and that I eventually realized that I shouldn't have to be responsible for her. We had a long talk where I told her that I still want to be in a relationship with her, but I just didn't want to be forced to be responsible for her. She said she was very hurt by what I said. Things changed and she didn't really talk to me after. She kept applying for jobs and attending interviews, but eventually her visa expired. Before she left, I told her I love her and that I would really want her to come back. However, she told me she sees me differently after I told her what I told her. It has been a few weeks since she left. I miss her and her presence and being able to spend time with her. I still want a future with her. However, our close friends have been telling me that I was an asshole. I disagree and I think that they're biased. So I'm asking, am I the asshole? I think he's the asshole.
I also think so.
You can't put someone
promise,
through that.
Yeah, you can't promise something that you can't keep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
100%.
this is like a life-changing decision.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a really big move in that she had to leave the country, right? And if it's okay if you didn't want to do it,
you
to
can
begin
say that
with.
as friends.
Right.
Just don't promise something and then not go through with it.
Yeah, this man came up with the idea,
Yeah.
made her do the paperwork
Exactly.
while she was interviewing,
Yeah.
and then backed out while he was like asked to do a small part of the paperwork.
I think
at
this
that
hits
time.
us really hard because we're on that side of it.
Yeah.
I think like for them, maybe he's a citizen, so he doesn't understand the consequences of like whatever he promised.
I mean, she had to leave the country.
Well, only after did he realize how big of a deal that he, like him later on saying that, oh, I don't want to go through with it. And then she actually had to leave, right? Because she didn't have enough time to actually look for a job because she reduced her urgency of looking for a job because of what he had promised.
And I think just given the situation that she's in, she's must be under so much stress. Right. And so then you're putting her on this other emotional roller coaster about, I'll do it, I won't do it. That's so unfair.
For sure.
You should not have suggested it if you didn't want to do it.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like to begin with, like, if you didn't want to see her stress, right, and you promised her this, you should keep your promise, right? Like, don't say something that you don't mean you're going to do, right? And especially because, like, sure, that really helped her, like, feel a little less pressure because she felt like, okay, at least she has, like, some sort of dependent now.
Yeah.
But then pulling back on that or walking back on that is not okay.
Yeah, and she didn't even ask for it in the first place. Like, this guy offered.
Yeah.
And she also said that she didn't want to be seen as like...
And he said that he wanted it, right?
Asshole.
100%. I actually had a friend, this happened to a friend. Sounds like a very similar story, but I don't think it's my friend. But anyway, she ended up leaving the country. So she was on a visa and her boyfriend, like long-term boyfriend, I think they dated for like 3-4 years. He's a citizen. And she had to leave because she didn't get the H-1B. And so she was like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, do I move countries? Do I move like all my things away? Because she didn't want to go to another country and then come back. So her company actually did offer that for her to go to another country and then bring her back on an L1. And so that was a route for her. But at the same time, she was just like, okay, the consequence of that is that her path was going to go to Canada for a couple of months and then bring back. And apparently the pay package was like a lot less, but obviously rent is like similar, especially in, I think it was Vancouver.
Yeah.
And so she was just like, she wouldn't be able to like save any money. So then her and her boyfriend at the time were talking about it, and he never offered to like, you know, sponsor her, but they had been talking about like potentially getting married, but he wasn't ready to do that. And so I was just like, to be fair, like he didn't offer, so it's not like he is the asshole.
Yeah.
But like that also for her was a realization that maybe this guy doesn't want to get married to her. Yeah,
that's tough.
She did end up going to Canada, but when she told me that, I was kind of shocked because like they had been together like long and they were talking about getting married, but this came along and he wasn't ready to commit. So if it was me, I would have been like, okay, that's okay, but then I'm gonna end this relationship because it feels like you're not ready to marry me anyway. This is like separate from visa stuff, right? This would have been a realization.
I agree, because if you're trying to like set up a life with this person, you're gonna like try to keep them in the same place as you, right? Yeah.
But also like I would have been like, okay, this guy doesn't really want to marry me because, you know, if it's so tough for him to make this decision now.
Yeah. If it was like a new relationship, then I can see why you can't expect that from a person.
Agree.
And that's okay. But if you're like literally thinking about marriage,
exactly,
then all your decisions are sort of like combined decisions, right?
Right.
So I don't see why. Yeah, I think she was right in that he wasn't serious.
Yeah, which was sad.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with, a breakup and like visa stuff.
It truly is. I think at this point I'm kind of just like, it's funny, I don't know about you, but when I go on dates and I'm starting to see someone more seriously, they ask me about my visa stuff. I don't know if you get asked. Yeah, like I dated an American once and he made a joke about a green card.
But I get asked about what my situation is. I get asked more about what my long-term like plan is, like where I see myself and whether that aligns. But the visa stuff hasn't been like such a serious consideration.
I think mine has. I've dated like both immigrants and Americans, and I think like maybe more the guys that I date are just so happens to be
Americans?
Yeah, the ones I date more seriously.
Yeah.
And it has come up in conversation. And I think the reason it's come up is because they're just like, okay, well, if you have to leave the country,
What
then
happens?
what happens to our relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who can answer that?
Yeah, I'm just like, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let that be the reason why I don't want to pursue this relationship.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened to that guy who asked you about the green card who's a citizen?
We stopped seeing each other.
But that wasn't the reason.
No, that wasn't the reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't come up. Like, it would be a consideration, obviously, right? Like, if it got serious. I think it also we weren't like, it wasn't that serious, our relationship, for it to be like, yo, should I actually, like, has it actually come to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Someone was telling me that there's a startup, and honestly, I'm mad that I didn't think about this, but there's a company that, you know how some Indian weddings, especially in the north, they're like such a like grand affair, right? They go on for a week.
Right.
There are so many ceremonies.
Yeah. Even in the south, they go on for a week.
No, they don't.
Your weddings go on for like
our
a
weddings
week.
are like 2.5 days. Yeah. So, and in North India, like the weddings are like a week-long affair. There's like an event every day, and it's like
First of
different
all,
outfits.
who has the PTO for this? And second of all, who's paying for all of this?
Rich people.
First of all.
Actually, no, I've been to even the middle class. Dude, I don't, in India, weddings like are where people spend their money. Like, you wouldn't even know that people were this affluent until you see the weddings.
Yeah.
Like, people go all out for weddings.
Okay, noted.
Yeah. So basically, and it's like such an event, right? It's almost like a festival. It's like Burning Man almost, but for Indians, right? It's like such an event. So there's an Indian company that organizes fake weddings for people to just experience an Indian wedding.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And do people go?
Yeah. People go, and my friend was telling me about this when I was like, I want to go to a wedding. She's like, please sign up.
But isn't that the same thing as just having parties?
Basically.
So
but it's like the cultural element of it, and
so there's no bride and groom.
no. Oh, actually, I don't know if there's a fake
Exactly.
bride and groom. But
That's what I
basically,
mean.
there's only the ceremonies. And like,
But there's no bride and groom, so how
Yeah.
are there ceremonies? Is it just a party,
oh
essentially?
my God, maybe they the more I'm thinking about, maybe they have like placeholder bride and groom. This is the thing. Should we go?
Yeah, obviously. I'd be 100% down.
Yeah.
I just need you to get married so I can experience the Coogie wedding.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah. So for those of you out there, if you do have like a Coogie man in your pocket.
Coogie man. People will start sending us corgis, which also
Kurg is a part of India that Rima is from.
Yeah.
And her parents would like her to marry a Kurgi man. That is Coorg, not corgi. So in case you guys do know someone from there, hit us up.
But send us corgis also.
Yeah, that also. So am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend at a wedding I wasn't originally invited to? My boyfriend is a groomsman at a wedding this weekend. He told me I was invited, so I was excited to finally meet his friends, but for some reason I had this gut feeling I wasn't. I'm not sure why, maybe his response and reactions when I asked, but I asked him to double check to see if I was actually invited, and he refused until 1 week prior to the wedding. Come to find out that I was indeed not invited, but they were going to figure it out. At that point, I was sincerely okay not going, as I understand budgets for weddings, and it was the week prior. They figured out my spot, and I was going to take someone else's spot who could no longer go. I was uncomfortable and embarrassed, but I didn't want to say no because they really put in an effort. Well, today is the rehearsal dinner, and I was making the hour drive and needed to get ready at the Airbnb. I never got the address after asking numerous times until 1:30, and when I arrived, my boyfriend told me I had 15 minutes to get ready. I was furious at the lack of respect yet again, and he said, suck it up and get over it and go inside and get ready. I asked who's inside, and he said a bunch of his friends. I haven't met them yet. I was in tears due to the lack of empathy and compassion. I ended up leaving because I didn't feel welcome in the first place, and definitely not welcome after that. Am I the asshole for leaving?
Not the asshole.
No. In fact, I feel like the boyfriend and
Yeah.
yeah.
The boyfriend's very much an asshole.
Yeah.
Why do people date these people?
I know. Why is she together with him to begin with? Shame on her. I mean, shame on the man.
Yeah.
I mean, but she does not deserve that.
Yeah, no, that's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
An hour drive and then you go there and it's like you're treated so badly.
Yeah.
It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't see why. I don't think the friends treated her badly.
Well, I guess we don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know that. But like this, she's not the asshole.
I think
Based
the
on
boyfriend did a very bad job at the whole situation.
Also, who talks like that? Like, suck it up.
Yeah.
It's a wedding. It's like a fun, happy situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. She's not the asshole.
No.
I hope she left him. God, so many of these am I the assholes I read about relationships and I'm like, why?
Why are people together? This is why we're single though, because I think
we have secondhand trauma.
Correct.
Protecting our little hearts.
I know.
Am I the asshole for not inviting my father's new girlfriend on a trip with my friends? This is very much non-relatable.
No.
My father, 55 male, started seeing Kelly, 25 female,
Oh, wow.
recently. Kelly and I attended high school.
Wow. Can you imagine if your dad started dating your friend from high school?
No, I can't imagine. This is one of those other things I can't there's no mental picture that comes to mind because I can't imagine it.
I mean, I have respect for people. Like, all different ages are fine as long as you are of age. But I cannot imagine my dad dating someone I personally know.
I went to school with.
Exactly.
Of all the people to fall in love with, you can't find someone
Right.
else.
Like, respect to people of different ages falling in
Right.
love, right? But like,
Don't date your child's high school classmate.
yeah, too close to home.
Okay, so Kelly and I attended high school, but we never socialized. My parents divorced a year ago, and I found out from social media. My father has been trying to get my brother and I to invite Kelly to our activities. He will ask us what we are doing and then ask if Kelly can be invited. For example, we were celebrating my friend's birthday dinner and my father dropped Kelly off at the apartment and insisted that I take her with me. The dinner was very awkward, but my friends did their best and were very nice to Kelly. Kelly spent the entire dinner complaining about having to be there and kept asking if we could leave. My friends booked a nice weekend for a weekend getaway and had everything planned. We booked a room big enough for 4 people. My father reaches out and asks me what I'm doing this weekend. And I told him that I was going to visit a friend. My friends posted a picture of us on social media and my father texts me back asking why I didn't invite Kelly.
That's quite persistent.
I text back saying maybe because none of us wanted her to come. I tried reaching out to my father to apologize, but he won't pick up any of my calls or answer my texts. Kelly has texted back saying I hurt her father and her feelings. Am I the asshole for not inviting my father's new girlfriend on a trip with my friends?
Definitely not.
Definitely not the asshole.
Yeah. Seriously, like, you can pick your own friends. Why do you have to babysit your dad's now girlfriend?
Why is the dad setting up play dates for his girlfriend?
First of all.
Like, he's dropping her off at the apartment and be like, you both like hang out with each other. And not as a way to bond or like get to know each other. Like, literally, he's like, have a play date with her because I want her to like just have fun. I'm like,
I think this is a bigger problem rooted deep inside with like him dating someone younger.
yeah.
I don't know if he would be doing that with his wife.
Yeah.
But then again, we don't know them personally.
We don't know them personally. But it's so funny to me that this dad is setting up play dates for his grown-ass girlfriend.
And the grown-ass girlfriend going along with it.
Yeah, and then complaining that she's like didn't want to be there in the first place.
She's old enough to have her own friends.
Right.
I wonder if the dad just wants the kids to get along with her, and that's why.
I mean, he's not doing a very good job explaining that. That's why it didn't come across like he wants them to spend time together and bond and form a relationship.
Right. It doesn't, yeah. And I feel like if they wanted that, then he should set up vacation for the family and let them hang out.
Imagine, I'm just going to mental picture of him depositing her outside the apartment and being like, play with each other. All sorts of people in the world.
All sorts of people.
Right.
Okay, am I the asshole for choosing a lower paying job without consulting my husband first? So I'm female 28, recently left the job I'd had for the past 2 years. I applied for a new job and got offered two, one with a lower salary. The job with the lower salary was my dream job, while the other wasn't. I told my husband, male 28, about the dream job, and he was excited for me. But we didn't go into too much detail, but at that time he knew about the other job offer, but he told me to take the interview and see how it goes. Interview went well and I accepted the job. I'm filling out relevant paperwork when my husband asks how it's going, and he looks through the paperwork I already signed. He asks if this is how much I'll make, and I said yes, before he brings up how much more the other job offered. So he asked how much I'll make from that job before he brings up how much the other job offers. He said that his work pays more than this and questions why I accepted this offer when the other offered more. I told him I liked the environment. It was my dream job, great benefits and slightly better hours. He told me that we don't always get to pick jobs we like, and that it was not smart to pick a job with less pay for that reason. He told me that I should have talked to him first and that this was a decision that impacted both of us and I was putting my wants over our needs. I told him I told him about the interview, but he told me that that was a cop-out. He didn't believe I'd choose a job that pays less, but didn't want me to regret not exploring the opportunity so that I didn't have to have any what-ifs. He also brought up our student loans, both lawyers, and how he was actively working towards paying off his while I wasn't taking the initiative to pay off mine. Am I the asshole for making this decision without my husband? The previous salary was 80K. The first job offer salary was 73K, so lower than her previous job. And then the second job salary was 220K.
That's a huge difference.
That is a huge difference. Okay. And she goes, edit, to clarify why I feel conflicted and feel the need to even ask. My husband wouldn't have been upset if I had accepted job 2 without his input, hence why it was only due to the low paying job. I misunderstood his excitement about the interview as promotion, but I did tell him that it would move quickly. I'm fortunate to have had my parents pay off a large portion of my student loans, which are not a burden to my husband due to a prenup. I am paying off my student loans. My husband thinks I'm not taking the initiative. I was fortunate enough to have help from my parents who also paid 50K towards his student loans as a wedding present. I have been making payments since I graduated. We pay 50-50 for all expenses and have a prenup, so no, he isn't being riddled with my supposed debt. Initially, without the edits, I was thinking, in the States, when you get married, you do split all the debt. So I think it was fair for the husband to, react that way. But as she mentioned, there was a prenup, right? So it's not as if like her debt is part of his, right, and it's already paid off.
So is she an asshole or not?
Yeah.
I think that their relationship is not very healthy, because how do you not talk about stuff like this, right? Like, it seems like they're always surprised by the financial aspect of it. Like, so many times when you were reading it out, like even to have this conversation about, hey, I want to take a lower paying job,
right,
it should happen before, right? I do agree with him that it was a cop out. I don't think she handled it very well.
Right.
But I think she's allowed to take whatever job she wants to. But I think it's a conversation that you have with a partner.
Especially,
it shouldn't be an FYI. So I think she handled it badly.
I agree.
So she's an asshole for that reason. I agree with the husband that she copped out and she wasn't very transparent with that. But I think she's allowed to take whatever job she wants.
Yeah. Although I will say that I do think that they need to talk about it.
Right.
Because it does impact.
And also, if your parents are paying off your student loans, isn't that something your partner would know? Why is it a secret? They both very tiptoeing. They both seem like they tiptoe around money a lot.
Yeah. I feel like one of the things with relationships, and we talk about this in Asian culture, 3 things should match, right? Like money, your view on the world, and family. And I think those 3 things, if you don't have the same values on, you shouldn't get married to this person.
Family, like your individual families, or the family you want from each other?
Both, I guess. Yeah. Because that's a huge thing, right? In Asian culture, we talk about you're not only marrying the person, you're marrying the family. And I think it's true.
Yeah.
Especially because they're typically very involved.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like these two need to start talking about their finances more, but he can't ask her to take a lower paying job.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, take a higher paying job.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a huge difference though. 80 and 220.
73 and 220.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
That's a huge difference. I mean, it depends on like their lifestyle, right? I think that it should be discussed because it's a 50-50 split. And so if you're getting paid less, like what you can do is more limited to if you were getting paid more.
Right. Yeah, it's a huge lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Which is why I think she should have been more forthcoming about it
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
like tiptoeing around
Right.
it. Yeah.
And even though she's paying 50-50, like there's still limitations,
That's
right?
true.
Yeah. So it should definitely be a discussion,
Yeah.
especially because you're married. Yeah, for sure.
Am I the asshole for not letting friends from out of town stay at my home? My 30 female boyfriend, who is 35 male, has 2 friends who live in another state. Let's call them Jack and Liz. They want to come visit us in our state with their 4 children, ages ranging from 5 to 10. I live in the downtown area of our city, while my boyfriend lives about an hour away in the suburbs. My house is close to where I go to school full time, about a 5-minute walk, and also where I go to work, 10-minute walk. I live with my 3 dogs, and because of my busy schedule, I have a dog walker come every day to feed and take care of them. When Jack and Liz come to visit with their friends, they were asking if they can stay at my house. Here's the thing though. They want me to leave my house so that their family can stay here with complete privacy. I think it is also worth noting that I have never met or spoken to Jack and Liz before. They are my boyfriend's friends and not mine. Also, they are originally from our city, so they have parents and family who still live here. They seem pretty wealthy, mostly because they tell my boyfriend how wealthy they are. I thought she was going with some data, and she's like, they said so. Liz is a stay-at-home mom and has never worked before because Jack has multiple inheritances. Multiple inheritances? What's that slide? And he brags about his high-paying job. They also own about 10 rental properties that they collect passive income from. Before meeting Jack, Liz also did not work because her family is wealthy and supported her. The thing is, my commute to work and school, both of which are 7 days a week, is over an hour if I go to my boyfriend's house in the suburbs. I already have such long days that changing my commute is going to give me anxiety with all the stuff I have going on. Also, I don't have anyone to walk my dogs at my boyfriend's house. And even if I were to hire a dog walker, he doesn't want a stranger having access to his house. Finally, it would just be uncomfortable to leave my own home. And I'm also nervous about having their young children run around my house. So am I the asshole? My boyfriend is disappointed because he's very close to Jack and Liz and is disappointed that I'm not opening up my home to his friends. Am I the asshole?
No.
This boyfriend sounds super entitled.
Yeah. And first of all, if they're wealthy, they can get their own Airbnb to begin with. Like, why do they need to stay at someone else's house with 4 children?
Yeah.
I think to begin with, I think it's not very considerate of the people who asked.
Right.
Because you have 4 kids.
Yeah, there's an edit where she says that her boyfriend lost both his parents when he was very young. And he, like Liz and Jack, are the closest thing he considers to an extended family.
But even then, I don't think it's fair to expect your girlfriend to let up her apartment for your close people. I don't think that's a fair expectation. Yeah,
I agree. I don't think the poster is an asshole either.
Yeah. If anything, like if I was the boyfriend, if they were so close, right? Like I would offer to get them an Airbnb. I don't see why they couldn't have gotten an Airbnb.
Because they're so rich.
They're so rich according to them,
Yeah.
right? So I don't understand why they couldn't have just gotten an Airbnb. If they couldn't and there was some reason they couldn't, I as the boyfriend, if I was so close to them, I would have gotten them an Airbnb instead of making it a thing on my girlfriend.
Yeah. I will say that sometimes in relationships you need to do something that you are not always happy with.
Agree.
Right? So I don't know if this was one of those situations. But given just her life and what it is, like if she has to go to school and work, like that commute is a little crazy.
Yeah.
And even like for a few days, it's going to be a lot. And it seems like it's going to be for a week.
Yeah.
So I think she's not the asshole.
No.
The boyfriend is very entitled.
Yeah, agree. I also think I think it's one thing for like maybe let's say 2 people, just a couple, to ask for this. But if you're bringing like a full-on family, I don't think it's fair on the person hosting, right?
Why? But the person's not hosting. She's going to leave the house and give them the house and go to her boyfriend's place.
But even then, like when you have kids, right? I think, and I know this because like just when we were kids, I think like you see how kids accidentally break things, right? Or like they run around and play freely, right? And you sometimes can't control them, you know? And so if you're bringing them to a stranger's house and you accidentally break something that's sentimental, who's going to be responsible for that?
That's true. And she's never met them before.
Right. I think that on top of
like
it.
leaving all your things to like strangers is
Yeah.
a little strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I feel like there's all sorts of people. I mean, like that one time we went to New York and my friend let us stay at his apartment when he wasn't there. That's very kind of him.
Yeah.
But that's not the norm, right? And yeah, he was just super generous for doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Not the asshole.
Nope. But yeah, I think that was fun to kind of go through seeing all sorts of people on the internet.
It really.
And the things people go through.
The Kelly and the dad.
That one had tried.
55-year-old man is
dropping off his girlfriend's play dates.
Yeah. Stalking his children's activities to just be like, not happy that they're going on trips, but like, why didn't you bring Kelly along?
But yeah, that was kind of fun to go through.
Yeah. What are your closing thoughts on people being assholes?
I don't know. Why do you think the subreddit exists?
I think sometimes people need to hear that the thing that they did, it's almost like validation.
I was just thinking that.
Like
validation.
they need someone to tell them that they're not an asshole.
Yeah.
But oftentimes they are.
Correct.
But I think it's predominantly validation.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think maybe sometimes curiosity, like you do want another opinion.
That's also fair.
And maybe you can't ask the people in your life because they might have some bias.
Yes.
And so you ask strangers on the internet.
Yeah. I think that there's also that. I think it's mainly validation for people who, need that. And then
curiosity.
Yeah, curiosity or just trying to get a third opinion or an objective opinion about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Tell us your thoughts on any of these, or if you've experienced something similar.
Like your dad setting up playdates.
Okay, not that. I'm pretty sure none of our viewers are in that sort of, or maybe they could be.
Never say never.
Maybe they're the daughters and the sons of this dad. But yeah. I think we're good to wrap up for today. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Toodles.
Bye.